Okay, everybody. So welcome back to our private feed for CARRD-based entrepreneurs. This is Ian, and I'm really excited to be sharing these weekly walkthroughs and workflows for those of you who are building a digital media brand or a web consultancy, or even just the quintessential home-based business where you're selling a service using CARRD. So for those of you who are listening to this, I'm going to publish this as well on YouTube. If you want to actually see some of the step-by-step example details of how this would look, you can look at the video that I recorded sometime around the 2nd or 3rd of December 2021 with CARRD in the title. For those of you who are just now joining us, this is a brand new audio series, listen on the go, bingeable series of audio instructions for folks who want to build a CARRD-based service business. You will get access when you sign up to not only PDF walkthroughs and workflows that you can actually try and apply in your own business, but you'll also, if you sign up before the 15th of December 2021, you'll get access to my entire Launch It Local series of courses, which has just a ton of, videos, audios, PDFs, lessons, all that sort of stuff that you can literally, it would take you months to go through all that stuff because it's been literally in development over the course of the last few years. Okay, all that aside, now let's look at the very simple series of steps that you need to implement if you really are serious about this model. This is easy, it's ethical, it's fun, it's adventurous, it's not predicated on some sort of gimmicky guru kind of BS, nonsense. It's identifying 3 steps. Step 1, niche and need exercise. What is the niche that you're targeting and what do they empirically need to succeed, right? Really important. Identify a hole in the marketplace that you can fill with a CARRD-based offer. That's number 1. Step number 2, and this is always true, these 3 steps. Step number 2, come up with an irresistible offer. How can you stack the value so high that people feel silly saying no, right? It makes it easier for them to say yes, predicated on the incredible value that you're going to be offering rather than, saying no or having some other analog they can compare your offer to and making a decision between, let's say, you and somebody else. You make it so irresistible by dint of just giving such an incredible value proposition that they actually feel like a dum-dum to say, no, I'm not spending money on this. And then step number 3 is email outreach, or rule number 3. You just have to start to send that offer out, and you do it in a very methodical, strategic, and scientific way. That email goes out and it is tweaked and critiqued and optimized and improved and iterated until you're getting yes responses. It's really that simple. You don't sell anything in that initial email, obviously. You're just trying to facilitate a rapport, a relationship, a callback, a contact, some sort of conversational experience where folks want to learn more about you. And again, the key here, and there's a lot of nuance to this that we're going to cover in the actual audio series that's private, and I'll have PDF examples of emails that have worked really well for us, but you don't want to sell anything, obviously. I get these emails all the time, I'm sure you do too, that have they'll misspell my name and say some vague thing about me or my business that's not correct, that is just generally spammy. And it's, people are using a contact form that they have no real clue about who I am. And it's actually insulting to approach people like that, because I can see that they're just making it up. Someone sent me something this morning that said something about my courses being helpful, but you could see from the email that they sent that same exact approach to 1,000 other people this morning, and there was nothing specific about me or specific about my courses or specific about the topic. So I could see it was something worth ignoring. You don't want to do that. That's a waste of your time. It's a waste of other people's time. And ultimately, it makes the world a dumber place for all of us. 3 steps, again, are identifying an ideal audience, doing that niche and need exercise. Who is your quintessential client? Who is the target audience, the target market that you want to approach? Step number 2, coming up with an irresistible offer. This is an evolving process. You don't just do this once. It just continues to get better and better. Your offer becomes more and more irresistible the more experience you have with what people are responsive to. Step number 3, you just do the work. You send the emails out. You begin the outreach campaign. You hire someone to do it. Do it yourself. I've done both. I've done plenty of these emails sitting, watching, news in the background while I'm just firing off emails in my pajamas. And I've hired people to do it. You can do the same thing the same way. All right. So let's now, again, really quickly go back to the specific video that I recorded a couple of days ago, December 2nd or 3rd, 2021. You'll see examples of how you can come up with this irresistible offer. In this case, for realtors, realtors are a great market, and it's the type of professional that, there's lots of them. Doobie, don't bark. I'm recording something. There are a ton of professionals like that you can target that will work equally as well. You want people who have a skin in the game sort of investment in their own success. You don't want to necessarily target people who are like online entrepreneurs all the time. You want to target people who are real professionals in the real world with real businesses, real needs, and real income streams. All right, so let's go back. I just let one of my 3 dogs out. And okay, so the irresistible offer that we used in the video, which I'm going to list here, is a simple 3, there's 7 things altogether that we identified that realtors need, right? So number 1, you have a PDF-oriented newsletter, a really highly stylized, really personalized, beautiful newsletter that you can offer realtors in their local area that's curated. So they can simply every month have a list of 7 or 10 things that they recommend, let's say events, restaurants, parks, whatever it may be, that helps sell their town to local or to people who may be moving there or interested in buying a house, but also simultaneously sells their kind of knowledge about the area. And again, very stylized, looks great. I bought a template for this. You can see it in that video. We give these away if you're part of this community or if you sign up for this CARRD course. But they look great. You can see an example of them, and they work, right? Step number, so that's irresistible offer. Well, that's the first piece of the offer that may or may not be irresistible. You don't know yet, but how do you make it better? Step 2, you create a digital newsletter that actually matches the same look and feel as the beautiful PDF that they're going to be sending out to their prospective clients every month. So now they have a matching review, which is now owned by Twitter, which is a curated newsletter service that's very, very easy to build. We're interested in speed and ease. So curated makes it, there's also another service called Curated, but I now recommend Review because they're free and they were just bought by Twitter and they're getting a lot of exposure. So you add all the same listings or the same events, the same restaurants to that realtor's digital newsletter now too. So now you're giving them 2 things. 3, you built a a CARRD landing page that works with the Review API, right? Very, very easy to do. I've done videos on this. So now you're giving them a landing page that actually builds their newsletter list that looks great, that has a picture of them at the top, that's really minimalistic but beautiful, that actually builds their review newsletter, as well as their PDF digital newsletter. All this you can do in a couple hours per each client, right? So this is high perceived value, really, really low time investment or threshold for you. Step number 4, how do you continue to sweeten the pot? This is how you kind of evolve this irresistible offer idea, right? Well, how about a bonus link tree page for their Instagram profile? So a lot of realtors, as I've covered a shit ton of times in the past, use Instagram to try to build their brands and businesses, but they use it fairly badly. And they often have a link, the only one that Instagram allows you to have at the top, that links to their agency page or the page they have on their, boss's website, where there's like a agent in charge and like 10 agents work for that agent, et cetera, et cetera. That's generally what they do. They only have one link. All of us only have one link available to us, or at least I do on Instagram. I don't really use Instagram that much, but having a link tree option where you can list all the different things that I'm doing in the world rather than one single landing page is a great idea, right? So now you're giving them that as well, a link tree or a profile page that has all of their things that you're adding here, their PDF newsletter, their most recent one, the most recent curated newsletter that you're building on review, a link to their agency page, a link to their, softball team they coach or whatever it may be. You can do all that on one landing page that you're adding into this offer as part of the irresistible offer. And then, of course, you can continue to, kind of build, bolt, and expand this irresistible offer by offering new things. One of the videos I did recently is on a tool that we use that you can actually see that will aggregate all of my content in one place and create these searchable directory style landing pages that have filters, that all I'm doing is adding a compilation of my resources, my links, my PDFs, my videos, my audios, all into one massive kind of learning environment where people can land on that page and have access to all the work I've done in the world. And they can really make a good, opinion or form a good opinion about whether I'm somebody that is worth working with or paying attention to based on all those resources. And it's free. You can do the same thing for realtors. You can say, do you have 7 or 10 really good articles that you've written or resources that you recommend? We're going to put these all together for you and create this landing page with a with filters and search and a directory style compilation page of all of your recommended resources. That has tremendous value to a real estate professional or a financial advisor or an accounting professional. And yet it will take you 10 minutes to do if you have the right software, which I happen to have, right? So that, all of this is just about upping your ability to be irresistible and appealing and to become the only option when it comes to your ideal audience. And you can do this very simply, very strategically, and ethically without wasting a ton of time, effort, income, and your attention on silly strategies that won't work. All right, so that's pretty much today's sort of series of suggestions. I recommend you go back and watch that video that I did that walks through how all this actually looks, so you can see exactly what the real, PDF, what the, real landing page, et cetera, looks like. And you get a better sense from that as to whether this is something you can imagine implementing in your own brand and business. Teach what you know, do what you love, wake up the world with your work. Thank you so much for listening. Again, if you're interested in joining our CARRD series for online entrepreneurs, digital media brands, agencies, etc., between now and the 15th of December, you'll also get access to my entire Launch It Local course series, which has just a ton, 100 hours worth of stuff, no doubt, that is, some of which is really, really good, and I think really objectively quite unique with respect to its impact on, those of us who want to do this sort of work from home. Thanks so much, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.